You have to move your bishop.
Now there's a lot of ways you can defend against this. The most common ways are e6 and a bishop e7. Your opponent will probably play bishop e7 in the way.
Bishop a6. Big brain.
You don't need to play bishop a6 right now. We just take, usually you can take the pawn back.
Why not?
I think there is a line that goes b3. I think you just take it back. Yeah. And after this, pawns are even, but there's always that potential idea of bishop a6, bishop b7 to trap the rook, right? And the bishop is really powerful here. And there's a lot of ways to kind of play this.
What if
now.
it plays rook c8? Then
Rook c8, we should probably move the bishop back.
back.
e3 or e5.
Wait,
You
what
just
if-
don't want the rook to come here.
What if when you play e4, what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't take?
So for example, the rook c8 and something like bishop g3, I'm threatening bishop a6. So there are some problems with this move here after rook c8 because you just invite me to play bishop a6. And just these natural moves, you can see how black isn't going to have the best
Who's
position out
winning?
of them, right?
Can you turn on that engine?
Why do you want to turn on the engine?
I want to see you win. Yeah.
No, white. Look, in these lines, black is never going to be winning. Okay, otherwise I won't be teaching you this. Okay, that's bishop e7. Now, there's a line that goes e6, and unless you know this line, you're not going to play this. Why? Because it involves having to sacrifice castling by playing king e7.
I mean.
And this looks, this looks a bit weird. You block your bishop as well, right? And the rook is on d8, and it looks very scary. So there's a lot of, questions you have to think about. White actually is going to play b3 instead of taking the pawn back.
Why?
And the reason why is because we can always win the pawn back if we want. And so the idea is, when we win the pawn back, we don't want to double our pawns, right? We want our pawns to be happy and have friends. If we took the pawn, then nobody would have friends, right? And they're easy to attack. So there's a lot of ways that black can kind of play this position. I think a common idea is bishop e7 to trade the rooks.
What if he goes rook d8 again?
So then, you have things like we can get the bishop out to a6 if we want.
I mean, it's wrong.
But we can also play something like knight e2 to get the
But
pawn back.
what's
So
your
something
bishop?
like this. And there's a lot of stuff you can play for here, right? And this is really good if you are playing white. You got what you wanted, and in a real game situation, black would be really good.
Where's the queen?
Right? So that's the power of kind of knowing some vague opening ideas, right? And if you ever want to become a London player, I highly recommend, one, playing it a lot, because when you play the London system, you're going to meet players that play everything. And if you, over time, after every game, you go to an analysis board and see what you did wrong in the opening, you will grow as a player. You will know everything about anything there is to London. And what that means is that there's a misconception in the chess world that if your opponent sees you're a London player, they don't take you seriously, right? And that's the venom in the London system. People don't take it seriously. They think, okay, everyone just plays bishop f4 and e3, c3, knight e2, and there's nothing else to London, and I can play whatever I want, I'll be fine. And it's not true. Now there are people that want to win, and when they see you play London, they will try to play sidelines like c5, right? That's what the FIDE master did to me in round 1. So, okay, this guy's 400 points lower than me, and this guy plays London. I'm not going to spend any time preparing. I usually play knight f6, the classical line. Knight f6, e3, e6, knight e2, c5, c3. I usually play this, but I want to win.
Indian
And a
game.
London player would play this perfectly fine.
Indian game.
They wanted to surprise me.
But that's not the London. It's the Indian game, man.
But after they tried to surprise me, I surprised them. Knight c3. And they went really low on time, and I won that game. Very nice. I got a brilliancy in that game. You guys love brilliancy.
Can I see it? Can I see it?
No. You guys want to see the game?
Yes.
Really?
No, you can see it on chess.
No. You don't get to see that game.
Why? There's a brilliant broadcast.
Until later. If you guys are well behaved, I might show it.
That's rude.
Okay.
No, but you can also see it on chess.com.
Where's my knife?
Now, I think there are some videos on YouTube that talk about this. A grandmaster by the name of Anish Giri had a course on what's called chessable, right? And against the London, he recommended this line. Knight f6,
You have to
e3, c5. How many of you have seen this or played this?
No, not really.
I never seen
But the idea of this line is that after something like knight d2, for example, there's always queen b6 problems, right? Queen b6 is a very annoying idea for black in these positions because the b pawn is often not protected because the bishop is gone, right? So you have to think about how to defend this pawn.
B3.
And okay, but then there's takes. So lots of things you have to consider, right? And usually when I learned London at first, I just played c3, right? Just normal kind of London stuff. Queen b6, queen b3, but they went c5. And fun fact, if you take the queen, it's actually very bad for you.
Why?
Because after pawn takes queen, they're just going to steamroll you. And that gets really annoying. That gets annoying as white.
Why can't you play queen c2?
Queen c2?
Yeah, now.
Where's the queen?
No, like when you play queen b3.
I play queen c2 with my invisible queen. Your move now. Oh, you mean bishop c7?
No. No, it's when you play queen b6.
Yeah, okay. So after c4, you can also just move back to queen c2.
No, I mean like when you did play queen b3, then.
Oh, queen b6, and then you play queen c2 instead over here, right?
That's not
Yeah, that's fine. There are ideas that involve taking. I think taking is first. And then g6, so there's shadow ideas. The bishop comes to f5 ideas. The rook comes to c8. This pawn is pinned ideas. It just doesn't, as a London player, I just don't like it that much, to be honest with you. Right? So here's my alternative, right? And this is some secret stuff, but I'm sure it will help you. You just take it. Players don't expect this. They think you made a mistake. Really. This is like when people play the Queen's Gambit and you take the pawn and they're like, you're not supposed to do that. You know, like, you know how many times I've seen players at this level, they go d4 and they play c4 and they're so proud of themselves. I played the thing I saw on Netflix the other day, right? And then they take, and I'm like, hold on, how do I get the pawn back? Right? Okay, I'm gonna play e4. Okay, you weren't supposed to just protect your pawn. How am I gonna get my pawn back?
E4.
No, you have to
E4,
go
C3.
queen a4 check. That's
Well, I
how
mean,
you
if you
do it.
want to get the pawn back immediately, then
It's
yeah,
your
I
turn.
guess. But, you know,
Knight C.
knight c3, yeah. So, if you know your theory, good for you. So, who here plays Queen's Gambit?
Maybe.
Maybe? Yeah, good for you.
It's a slow.
I love Queen's Gambit. I used to play it.
laugh.
But if you're just playing Queen's Gambit because you want to be cool, you need to know how to get the pawn back, right? Because not everyone can get the pawn back.
I
I can.
Like, you can get the pawn back,
I know how to get the pawn
right?
back.
So, yeah,
Your knight is
those
the
are
same.
ideas.
I want Andy.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can log on to Leicester.
No,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Jesus.
I have ideas, and I'll show you some real games.
Why did you freeze it?
Because, why not?
What's your Leicester account?
Because he doesn't want
Powerhouse of a cell.
Oh, okay.
It's really weird, but he won't tell me why he did that. Jonathan's is
You'll learn.
Johnny Boo. Johnny Boo.
Johnny Boo something.
No, I know why. Because if they know your name, they can do it on chess.com
Right.
and then see what.
Johnny Boo.
Here's an example of a game with the London system. I've got a lot of these.
Is there relevancy?
Right? So
Over-
my opponent played this thing, and I just took. And they were thinking very long time. They're like, this guy played a bad move. How do I punish? And the problem with his train of thought is that I didn't play a bad move. He just didn't know how to play openings. So he goes e6. Great, I just defended. They're like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to play knight c3 and like I win the pawn back and I'm happy. But if your opponent is happy, you're doing something wrong. So we're not going to make them happy. b4.
You're gonna make them sad.
a5 c3. You take, okay, I still have the pawn. b6, you are losing now. Complete lost position. Don't look at this master database. Garbage. You can't lose this position. Statistically impossible. Why? You just take the knight. Bishop takes knight. Rook takes. Bishop b5 check. What is the problem here?
He has to go king e7.
He has to go king e7. Why? Why not bishop to d7?
Because then, like, I don't know.
Queen a4.
Just push.
This over there.
And if the bishop wants to save itself, we lose the queen, right? Because I've discovered check. So here, after bishop b7, after c6, you're forced to take. And you're supposed to, and no, you don't go king e7. And after something like this, you're just down a piece. It's sad, you're losing. So king e7 is the move.
Sure.
Right? And now we play c6 anyways, because we like having the extra pawn. I think we have an extra pawn. Yeah, we do. So let's push it. We defend b4 because they're attacking. Defend it again. Brilliant C. This is a good game.
You said the game had.
No, I didn't. Oh, you're talking about the other game.
Yeah.
But
No,
I
I
said
said
only
that.
if you were well behaved.
Big trap here.
That was the
Yeah,
end of
I
it.
knew it.
But do you see, look, this can be used so many different times. What about this? This is the exact same line.
Hey, you said you were 2,700 in chess.
What? This is a long time ago.
Uh,
But see, notice how it's the same thing? Oh, this time black played bishop d7 earlier. So I don't have bishop d5 check anymore. Okay. Is that a problem?
can I see you in chess right now?
No.
Why not?
You can always do it at home.
It's okay.
I don't-
c6, captures a3. And what ends up happening in this game is I just have an extra pawn the entire time. Castles.
Yes, 13 seconds.
And the rest of this game, I'm just better.
Without problems.
And I win here. Let's see what else I have.
The Luna.
This is the thing I was showing you about, right? Actually, no, I don't really like this one. What about this one? Aha, yes. This is the one I showed you guys earlier, right? This kind of weird looking thing. And the counter chain takes. Bishop c7. We're threatening checkmate. Okay, they block it. Okay, I did play bishop a6. And they just decided, you know what, it's okay, I don't really like the look anyways. Knight d5.
That's kind of mean.
Rook takes d5.
you.
Get that knight out of there, right?
Is that brilliant?
I don't know, but it's probably a good move.
Or do I?
B takes c3, and the problem is, yeah, it's a sacrifice, but I get it back anyways, right? And now, I'm not up the pawn, but I like my position a lot. And
Nice one.
eventually I get my rook in the game. Now, okay, wait, you guys have to understand that this is not a bomb cloud.
Bonko's king e2.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but even then, it's not a bomb cloud.
Five.
Sometimes in position, especially like in this, it makes, well, what, I can't castle because there's a bishop here, right? I can't castle. But oftentimes, it makes a lot of sense to, instead of castling, leave your king up in the center. Especially when the queens are off the board, when there are no open files in the center, right? There's always opportunities to leave your king in the center and get the rook out like this. Why? Because in the endgame, oftentimes we want our king to be close to the activity, close to the center, right? If I had castled there, I would have to spend extra moves in the endgame moving my king up to the center of the board to try and win the endgame. But if I leave my king in the middle, I quote-unquote bomb cloud my king in the middle. My king is still perfectly safe, but I get my rook in the game, and my king is closer. So sometimes, that's fine. But when there's queens on the board and when it's dangerous, that's when we want to think about castling, because we want to get our king safe, right?
What if it's still bomb cloud?
Well, if you bomb cloud and it's dangerous,
What
big
if
issues.
Magnus is
Big
Magnus
issues.
Carlsen won Wesley So doing the ball.
Are you Magnus Carlsen?
Yes, I am.
I played king
Alright, you
b2,
can
queen
try it.
e1,
You can
and
try
then queen
today
d,
at the
and
tournament.
then I played e4, king
Good
e2.
advice, Henry.
Yeah, you can try it on against your brother or something.
King d1 and still won.
Oh yeah,
Alright.
I'm Magnus Carlsen.
I'm Magnus Carlsen.
Let's think. How long do I have until?
You have 1 hour.
Alright.
It's up to you. Yeah.
Wait, when is the?
11.